farm, fertile fields and boulevards, the hand to rest over your heart. Oh, I'm the echo of the bell that's ringing. Oh, I'm the freedom in the song we're singing. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. A place to dream for all of us. I'm America. I'm the music to the dance, the open window to a chance, the place where courage takes a stance. All the colors that you see, the lights from 30,000 feet. Yeah, I'm the roar of victory. Oh, I'm the echo of the bell that's ringing. Oh, I'm the freedom in the song we're singing. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. Place to dream for all of us. I'm America. I'm America. I'm the fathers, I'm the sons, I'm the footprints in the mud. I'm a shelter washed in blood. Oh, I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. Place to dream for all of us. I'm America. I'm America. I'm America. I'm America.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Mic in hand, ready for deployment. Podcast feels heavy as the ointment. Veteran tales straight from the trenches. Pop culture splices, pulling down the fences. Homefront sit rap, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Homefront sit rep, voices from the fight. Veterans sharing dark, stepping into light. Real life saga, not some fairy tale. Truth and resilience, never gonna fail. Homefront sit rep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Legacy 11 X, story of Marines. Army anecdotes, Gulf War scenes. Vietnam echoes, Desert Storm sounds. Podcast chronicles, glory and bounds. Homefront sit rep, honesty is core. Veterans laying bare what they endure. From the front lines to the homebound grief. Episodes of grit, grind through the grief.
Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of Homefront Sit Rep. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody had a great Monday. So my Monday, not so bad. Today was my first day back to my day job after my knee surgery. So today was the first day back. What's going on, Southie? How are you, sir? So today was a typical Monday, man. Just got up early this morning because I couldn't sleep last night, So I got up this morning, had a headache, took some medicine, got dressed for work, went into work, then went over, did PT, and then went back to the office because I'm waiting on my phone to come in so I can actually go back and play in the dirt. Like I normally do. Uh, but yeah, it is what it is, and hanging in there. And then Gunny texted me just a few minutes ago. He was out buying a new car for his wife, so he's unable to join tonight. He sends his well wishes to everybody and says that he'll be back next Sunday. So um, it's me flying solo with our guest tonight, so it's going to be a great show. We're streaming on TikTok, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can find us out there. Hi, Miss Lauren. Hi, Miss Stephanie. How are you guys? If you're out there, say hi to me. So I know you're out there and you're watching. So our guest tonight uh, served 38 plus years. Well, I don't think he served 38 years in the military, but he served, that's with his military service and civilian experience as a field artillery senior sergeant and personal security specialist for the civilian government. So he was in the government for DOD for 38 years. Sergeant first class retired, William A. Stevens Jr. What's going on, James? How are you, sir? With Heroes of America and Beyond. He's a native of, well, he was a native of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Suffers from major depression, anxiety, PTS, bipolar 2, and bipolar 2 disorder. He is honorably retired from the military and the civilian government, as well as 100% protected combat wounded veteran. He has wrote 2 books. The first book is called The Mirror, second edition, and then also The Broken Mirror. And then 1821s is his platform to talk about mental health. So I know with TikTok, we have to be very careful with some of the wordings that we use. So we'll navigate that as we're going through here in just a little bit. Um, so yeah, he's known as the voice of the voiceless. There's a lot of veterans out there, and we've talked about this on numerous times. There's a lot of veterans out there that don't want to speak up about their trauma. For one, because it's too hard sometimes. Uh, Two, when they do start going to the VA, they're worried about what could happen. So yeah, so a lot of veterans don't speak up. So to have a voice of the voiceless, that's awesome. Miss Lita is joining us on TikTok. How are you, Miss Lita? Just want to give you a shout out there as well. So without further ado, let's bring our guest up, Mr. William A. Stevens. Let's bring him up to the show and let him introduce himself. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey man, how you doing? Thanks
Man.
for having me on the HomeFront Sitrep.
Man, I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm here in Davenport, Florida, in my RV.
Nice. So that's one of the questions we ask all the time. When you go up to a veteran, you say, "Hey, how you doing?" A lot of people just do it as an passing kind of moment, but then you have to, if you really want to get to know how they're doing, you say, "Hey, how are you really doing?" And then a lot of times the veteran will open up, which you're going to open up for us here in just a few minutes once we get into the nitty gritty. So do me a favor, Mr. Stevens. Won't you introduce yourself to all of our watchers, our listeners around the country?
I'd just like to say hello to all the distinguished guests and everybody that's following. My name is, people call me Billy. I go by Bill. The official title is William A. Stevens. I'm from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, born and raised. I went to Carlisle Senior High School, graduated in 1988. Basically, so you want me to just start telling my story?
Yeah, go ahead. Start telling
Okay.
the story.
So basically, I had a terrible upbringing as a child. So I lived in a middle-class family. We didn't have a car. My mode of transportation was a skateboard. I was a skate rat. Basically, watching my dad, consume alcohol and spend up all his earnings and take it mentally and physically out on our family. So basically, I said, the heck with it. I didn't have anything else left in life. I was the only one in my family that graduated. I have a sibling, my sister. I don't talk to her much about her. You'll know why when I tell my story. But it was my older sister, me, my mom, and my dad. So I was the only son, and getting, I would say, when I say abused as a child, meaning rumors in high school going around about me. I don't even want to get into that, but now on social media, people hide behind keyboards, but this was every day. People will walk up and down hallways and say stuff to me, and you know what? It irked me for a while, and then I just got over it. But it's funny because like the same people today still hold that against me, But I feel I've achieved something better than them because I spoke at my 20th year class reunion and like blew them away. They were like, "This is not the same guy." Well, I'm not the same guy. But anyways, I joined the Army. So I did the delayed entry. I graduated in June. Did a delayed entry like July. Never flew on an airplane before. So my first time ever flying on an airplane, I flew out of Harrisburg International and flew crop duster. I didn't even know what that was. It was like 19 people on a plane, and I flew to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I did I was in a cohort unit. So some people don't know what cohort is, where you do your basic training, your advanced individual training, and then they ship you all out together. So I was field artillery, did all my basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, as well as, and the story goes on, all my military training was done at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, because when you're artillery and you go through your senior ranks, you have to go back and go to your basic and your advanced course. So I knocked that out now, but I took the option not to get a bonus, so I took the option of going to Europe, and this is where they got me. So I thought it was funny because, like, I think, I went home for about 2 weeks, and then I got on an airplane, and we all linked up at the airport, and we all flew to Germany together, and that was the hardest thing for me because, like, I had never flown that long, like 24 hours on a plane, and to get to Germany. And then we got to Germany, and we landed, I think, at Frankfurt International Airport, and we were on the road, and I don't speak no German, I didn't learn no German or anything in school, and we're driving, right? And I kept seeing these signs that said, like, Ausfahrt, Insfahrt, meaning, enter and exit. And I didn't know that, and I'm like, damn, this is a big-ass city, man. Like, Germany must be really big. And somebody on the bus was like, what are you, field artillery or something? Like, I was like, how'd you know? They were like, only field artillery people would not know what that meant. I'm like, well, great. I must be like in the dumb MOS or something. So I kept getting jokes. But anyways, we got to the replacement detachment in I believe in Germany somewhere. I don't remember. But these corporals came out and they were like rushing us, craziness. And they were like, get on this checker. And there was these black and red checkers. And it was funny because, like, I took the option of Europe.
Yeah.
Not Germany. Anywhere in Europe, right? I didn't know that. So I was on a black checker, and I looked down and saw, like, my counterparts. They were on red checkers and black checkers, and this person came out and was like, if anybody's on a red checker, you're going to Turkey. And I was like, what the hell? I hope I'm not going to, like, Russia or something, And they were like, anybody on the black, you're going to Germany, and you'll be disseminated out according to your MOS. So those guys that were on the red checkers, I've never seen them ever again throughout my career. But anyone that was on the black checkers, I've seen them all throughout my career It was crazy because like my battle buddy was Jackson, and he was on a red checker, and I was always hoping that I could link up with him sometime, and never saw that cat again, man. So, gonna just like combine it real quick. I was in Germany for maybe about 6 months. They made me the commander's driver, and I was also special weapons. So as a private, I didn't even know they gave me like a top secret security clearance. Didn't even know what that was. So I was basically the guy. If anybody done special weapons, they have 4 trucks and a rocket or a copperhead round, artillery copperhead round, and it's on one of the trucks, and nobody knows, and they got guards, and I was one of the guys that was like, "Do not come in here." And consider myself with a big head that I was special weapons, and then that ended up making me like the time and code guy, where like you set the time and code switches on the copperhead. There's 2 time and 3 codes, and they give you like a new code. And I was always wondering, when they load this round in the howitzer, why is the lanyard like 100 feet long? And then they disclose to us it's like kind of like a suicide mission, because like as soon as you pull the lanyard, like whatever is in that area, it's all nuclear, you know. And the back blast or whatever, when the round goes out, everything that's on the outside is kind of like neutralized. So you're kind of like, that's why you're special, you know.
Yeah.
one and only shot. That's it. So, in 90, so I got there in basically 89. So I didn't really have any field artillery experience. So in about 90, what was it? The day after Christmas, our commander told us that we would be leaving about a week, and we got on an airplane and we all flew to Saudi Arabia. They basically told us that we were going to go to war with Iraq. So I didn't know much as a private, so I really did, you know, I was just, you know, following the leader. So we slept at the port. We got off the airplane, and that was the worst thing ever in my entire life. I've never been in a condition where the air sucked. Like, we landed in the desert, and the air sucked everything out of us. Like, I was like, holy shit, what did I sign up for? And we got on these buses, and they told us not to look out the windows. Those curtains were all blacked out, and we went to the port. And I believe we were at the port for about a week. We slept on the ground in our sleeping bags. You being infantry, you know that. Yeah. Any of the infantry guys in here know. So I never really slept like on concrete like that before. I mean, like, there was nothing. Like, I mean, we were waiting for our equipment, and when we got our equipment, we low buoyed everything up, and we watched all the M1 tanks come off, and we had a M109 A1 howitzer, like the old howitzer with the open doors in the back, and they low buoyed everything, and we went forward. All I know is, like, they used phonetic alphabet to different locations we were going to. They never told me, but I learned what the LD was, the line of departure. You know, line of for the, you know, between, you know, you have the line, and then you have a mile this way and a mile this way for the good and the bad. So we were watching like all 1st Armored Division, and we were attached to 7th Corps, like they were all just like peeling off as we were going, and we were just keep going. And it was like we stopped and we like wagon wheeled for a while in the convoy, and then it got real dark, and we moved across the LD. And when we got across the LD, we were about a mile away from the Republican Guard, and the engineers were behind us, and they dug us in. Like, they dug us in these these big trenches. Yeah. So we used the terrain to hide our equipment. So basically, we were there, you know, I think it was more survival in the desert than basically training, you know, because like surviving the desert environment, we weren't trained for any of that, you know. And also, we had the BDUs. Like, we didn't get the fun desert camouflage uniforms. None of us did. So we were there, and then the war kicked off, like, what? I think it was in January, February, I guess. I don't know. So yes. I was there from, was it probably the 28th of December, 90, all the way to the 2nd of May in 91. So before, during, and after the storm. And basically, I was just a powder guy, drop increments in the hole, and I think where I got my kick, we had in the howitzer, you had the number one man, he loads rounds. And I was in an all black section. So they basically called me like the Oriole or double stuff. I was the only white guy. And I used to sit in the back and look inside because I wasn't allowed inside because I wasn't allowed. But I learned everything from watching with my eyes. And I remember the commander coming on and saying that Bush, President of the United States, had just signed a declaration where there's a ceasefire agreement. And for 45 minutes while they were signing the agreement, the whole 1st Armored Division 7 Corps would unload on for one last time for 45-round fire missions. For 45 minutes, they pounded the Iraqi Republican Guard, and that's where the A-10s and everything blanketed, what was it, the Highway of Hell?
Yeah.
The Highway of Death off of Route 80. Yeah, so that was pretty wild because the number one man, the breach came back before the mission, and it snapped his wrist. It broke his wrist. So they were like, hey, back in them days, it could tell you, hey, white boy, get up in here. So I got up in there, and I was a little chubby guy. I was about maybe 210. I weigh more than that now, but I was about 210 and pretty buff. And Chief said, you got 45 rounds, man. Make it happen. And fire mission, fire for effect, 45 minutes, 45 rounds. Shot 45 rounds, man, as a private. P2, 45 rounds. So, and for that, I received my first Army award, which was like an Army Commendation Medal. I was the only private in the whole battery that got an Army Commendation Medal because, like, some privates only got a certificate of achievement and the awards that came with the whole unit and stuff. But going forward, that kind of put like an instill in me, like it made me feel like a man, I actually did something. I felt proud of myself, and we got back with that. So a lot of people don't understand, like, this provide comfort. We were not providing any comfort for any of those people in that country. We were burning wood and getting our vehicles prepped. So if you think Afghanistan was bad, where they left all the equipment, they don't even talk about what they left in the desert. I mean, they just left it in the desert, and I don't know what happened to it, but we got back, and I got orders to go to Fort Carson. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So Carson, 4 years, went to Korea for a year, went back to Carson for 4 years, went back to Korea. I had met a girl during the time I was there. I thought that was going to be my wife. Turned out handbags and everything from Korea. That's all she wanted. Sleeping with my friends and all that, coming back. But anyways, then I got orders to go to Fort Lewis, Washington, and she did not go with me, and I went to Fort Lewis, Washington. And so from Carson to Korea, I had multiple Kuwait deployments. Like, they're called like Operation Desert Spring, Operation Rise. Just going over there and training the Kuwaiti government, the training army, or like working with the Brits and the Canadians and stuff. But it was funny because I remember one of our deployments, we went over to train the Kuwaitis, and they brought all their equipment, and then they got in trucks and left. And we were like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, the Kuwaiti's army, they're on holiday." We're like, "What?" And these cats left their equipment, and we were there. Like, they just left us in the desert, and we're like, "Oh, okay." We were there. So we shot our own missions and stuff. So, but yeah, so I had multiple deployments, and then the major PTSD started kicking in was at Lewis. I got in an altercation. So actually, we were heavy 109, and then the Army changed everything. Like our MTEL came down and said we were going to be light. Like Lewis was going to go light, and we were going to deploy with like the Rangers and stuff. Because
Oh, dang.
at Lewis, where we were at, the Rangers were right behind us at the airfield, and I was like, "Ain't no way, man! I'm not a light guy. I'm damn sure I'm not going 19 or 8."
Right.
So, I was a gunnery sergeant as a staff sergeant, and I was single. I lived in the barracks. They wouldn't let single staff sergeants live off base, and I just had like anger issues and stuff from like being deployed sometimes, and I would take my aggression out in the barracks, like in my room, and like punch the walls until I saw blood and stuff, and then I would clean myself up and like come back and be like, "There's no problem." But I used to have a platoon sergeant in the other platoon that used to like really irritate me. He used to like make me feel pretty bad in front of the other soldiers because like I was the kind of NCO that I didn't like watch and fold my arms. Like I got in it, like I got into Connex and sat down with the soldiers and cleaned tools and stuff because like it's the way I learned, you know.
Right.
And this guy, he was always calling me an MF, so he was Hispanic, and he was like, you know, he was always calling me the MF, and I kept telling him, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, you keep calling me that, I'm gonna run into a situation, you know, because like I don't really feel that that's necessary in front of the soldiers. So like all the soldiers went to chow or to lunch, and I was in the Connex cleaning tools. You know, I just didn't like, you know, go back to my room and chill out. I was in there because like, you know, we had inspections and stuff. So I wanted to make sure our stuff looked good, you know, because I was the gunny. So, and I didn't know where the platoon sergeant, my platoon sergeant was, but this guy came into the Connex and he was like, hey, you know, I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't agree. You know, I think you're like a cheese eater, and called me an MF a couple of times. And I just happened to be standing by the trail. The trail is a piece on a 19 or 8, and I'm sure some people are fact checking me on this, but I think it's called a material lifting bar. You use it to stick under the spade, under the trail to lift it up when it's stuck in the ground. Kind of like a crowbar, but it's longer, like maybe 4 feet long.
Like a big rock bar.
Well, it was behind me, and I grabbed it. And I told the guy, I said, you have about like 5 seconds to get away from me. This is going to be a bad situation. So he said it again, and let's just say I ended up being in the first sergeant's office of assault with deadly weapon. So,
ouch.
I thought that was my career. I was up for sergeant first class. This was my first look. I would just say that the way they treated that whole situation, it was almost like they were trying to target me, you know, and just piss me off because they knew that I had an anger issue, but I never showed it. But when I blew up on the guy, it took like maybe 4 or 5 guys, soldiers, to pull them away from me, away from this guy, because I was gonna brutally kill him. So, and when you start having those kind of like hallucinations and that stuff going through your head, you know, a lot of stuff comes back into your head, and it's like a tunnel vision, you know. And I didn't know I basically didn't know what I was doing. So I was sitting in the first sergeant's office, like clueless, like what the hell just happened, you know? And they gave me a relief for cause, NCOER, like an evaluation report. Ousted me from the battalion. Like I didn't even talk to the sergeant major. They sent me over to first Corps headquarters. I went and saw the post sergeant major, and he was like, you know, I don't think you're going to make sergeant first class list, so this might be the end of your career. Yeah. Hell, I didn't even have 10 years yet. I didn't even have 10 years. Like, I think I had 9 years, and I was already a staff sergeant. So, but my career is over. So he's like, well, you're a little too hard charging, so we're going to put you in with the, have you ever been with women? And I'm like, no, never been with women before. So they put me in like I would say ash and trash unit, like a broke unit where people just like had profiles. And my first day in that unit, they told me to come out and give like physical training, and I broke them off, and they were like, Steven will never get PT in this unit ever again. And then I had to go meet with the sergeant major again, the post sergeant major, and he's like, we found the perfect job for you. You're going to be a tour guide at the Fort Lewis Military Museum. And I'm like, what? Tour guide? What does a tour guide got to do with the military? Like, I didn't even know that whole side of the military even existed, like military history and all that. So I thought it was a joke. And I got over to the museum and I met like the staff and met a couple broke people. Had like one guy had a broke leg, one guy had a broke arm, and they were all in civilian clothes. And I was like, what kind of tour guides represent the military in freaking civilian clothes? You know?
Right.
So they made me like the NCOIC, and I immediately changed the uniform to Class Bs, and I was probably the most hated person of the staff. And we learned like military history, the wear of the uniform, all kinds of policy and procedures. We had to make sure that everything was ready, presentation wise, and if they wanted us to go through and explain the exhibits, we knew all the exhibits and everything. You had to learn all that stuff, and like you weren't off on the weekends, so if you weren't working, you were learning the exhibits and stuff. And then we were the ones that painted all the tanks and stuff like that, and like there was a lot of weird stuff behind the scenes. But you know, learning military history was something that I never thought that I would learn in my life. So. Also, I was also Sergeant Audie Murphy recipient. Audie Murphy is the most decorated soldier ever lived, and I was a perceived member of the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club. And I had talked to them at the museum because Audie Murphy did some stuff at Fort Lewis, especially on the airfield. He had landed there and stuff. So they took it. I'd helped develop a exhibit and was not part of their club on the installation. I didn't feel I needed to be a part of that. So all I know is I'm known for putting an exhibit into that thing. And after that happened, I went and met my rater, like the guy that was going to do my evaluation. So I'm still up for Sergeant First Class, but I had a crappy evaluation report submitted to the board. So I met this guy, this colonel, and he happened to be artillery. And I sat down with him and I'm like, sir, do you think this is going to hinder my career? And he's like, do you think this is going to hinder my career? And I'm like, well, what do you do? He goes, I sit at this desk all day and stare out the window. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool job. So you should come over and work at the museum, you know? And he said, well, you're doing good things over at the museum, so I'm going to give you like all excellence, and we're going to submit this to the board and see what happens. And I'm like, well, what about the other one? And he goes, we'll see. So now I got ousted from a field artillery unit, and I was over in this admin unit, and the board happened. And while I was at the museum, the curator came over to me and said, hey, we want to talk to you for a minute. And I was like, what? He goes, we have the Sergeant First Class list. And I was like, what is this? They were like, you made number 62 in the entire Army.
Oh, dang.
I was like, what? I said, how in the hell is that even happen? They were like, yeah. So the unit found out no one in the entire unit that I was ousted got selected.
Oh, dang.
Not one. So now I'm promotable. Now I'm a promotable staff sergeant. And my curator, who is like overall the museum, he said, you may want to get on the phone to the Department of the Army and get out of here. He said, because like if you are selected, you probably won't be a Sergeant First Class. They may hold that back from you for being in the museum. And I was like, well, I'll get on the phone and find out. And even before I got on the phone, I got orders to go to Fort Riley because I came down as promotable and they needed a platoon sergeant at Fort Riley. So
nice.
I got sent to Fort Riley, Kansas, and God, Kansas, like the Wizard of Oz there, man. Was never used to that, man. But Fort Riley was all right, you know. And then 9/11 happened, and we were all in the day room. I've done a couple desert rotations while I was at Fort Riley. I was like an Alpha Battery, and then I was a platoon sergeant in Charlie Battery because I was a gunny because I had not been promoted yet. So I got promoted while I was at Fort. No, I got promoted at the museum before I left. They promoted me before I left because like it wasn't a waiver, but since they promoted so many people, I had one more month, and then they promoted up to like number 63, and I got promoted. So I went to Fort Riley as a sergeant first class, but they made me a gunny in Alpha Battery, and we went to Doha. Doha. I think people know who Doha was. So we went to Doha, and then we did some desert stuff and came back. And they made me platoon sergeant Charlie Battery. And then 9/11 happened. We were all sitting in the day room, and we were doing medical training. I was in my office, soldiers on medical training, and turned on the TV. And so the whole platoon witnessed like the Twin Towers come down.
Ooh.
And I was immediately called into a meeting. And they were like, look, you know we're going to go. We're part of the 1st Armored Division, 3rd Brigade, and you know we're going to go. So I sat down with my platoon. Like we all sat down in the day room. I explained to them. Now, at this time, I was the only person in my platoon that had a 1st Armored Division or even a combat patch because a lot of my guys were all new privates and a lot of my NCOs had never been to combat. So here I am, the platoon sergeant, and here I am the main person that has to train this platoon and my 6 chiefs to take these soldiers to combat. So I was pretty ruthless. We did a couple field training exercises. We did like a combined live fire exercise with the entire division. And I was more focused on survival, like nuclear, biological, chemical, stuff like that. First aid, you know, hand-to-hand, stuff like that. Weapons qualification was a must. And we got the order, and we went to Kuwait. And I believe before we went to Kuwait, we were only at Kuwait. We were only at Doha for maybe a week. We were waiting for our equipment to come off the ship. And I remember a bunch of my soldiers, some of them came out of the closet. They were like, back then it was like, don't ask, don't tell. Some of them were saying that they were homosexual. They were smoking the marijuana. They were doing drugs. And they were trying to get out of the deployment. And I was like, you know what? We need everybody. We're going to take you. If you come back, you don't come back in a body bag. I'm hoping that all y'all come back. And then back then it was called like a pink slip. They would give you a pink slip and throw you out. So I was like, thank you for your service. Thank you for putting your life on the line. Now get out for being a drug addict or whatever you identify yourself as. So, but I took my platoon and we went to like different forward operating bases. Like I think we went to like Pennsylvania. We were at Camp Pennsylvania for a while, and I thought I was doing a good job. I knew the soldiers hated me because like I was hard but fair, very hard but fair, and like I had my guys running around at forward operating base in mop suits, man. It was like 100 degrees, man. But you know what? We didn't know, man. We didn't know if we were gonna get hit, you know. And these guys need to learn, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of them started to like really hate me. So like a few of them decided, you know, they wanted to step to me. And I will just say that they stepped to me and they stepped to me the wrong way. And I got relieved. I got relieved again. And the sergeant major pulled me in and said, you know, some of the battalion staff witnessed what happened with you and a soldier. And he explained to me that, you know, we're going to be leaving Kuwait and going up to Iraq in a convoy. And he wanted me to represent the battalion as the battalion reenlistment NCO.
Awesome.
Now,
well,
I was.
So we're 40 minutes already in.
Okay.
Let's talk about the books real quick because you got 2 books that you wrote. The first one's called The Mirror. This is what it says here on Amazon. The mirror delves into the lives of individuals grappling with various traumatic events, illnesses, and disorder, with the author personally navigating through post-traumatic stress disorder. It serves as an uplifting read for those battling the inner demons stemming from past traumas. So, what made you decide to write a book and then a follow-up book to go with that?
Real quick. So from 2019 all the way up to like 2008, I had written a lot of poetry. A lot of poetry, a lot of therapeutic stuff. When my dad died, I already had a manuscript. I put a manuscript together while I was working at the government. So basically, while I was working in the government, I wrote a book on government time. And it's the first time I disclosed this. So he died, and The Mirror was born. It was called The Mirror. And it was all focused toward veterans at first, and then I rebranded in 2024 under a new publisher because my other publisher went out of business, and then I called it the second edition, and I had a new cover, had a therapeutic poetry award, and also had the Blue Seal of Excellence for quality. I tried holding the book up here, but it won't pop up.
Yeah, with your virtual background.
Yeah, if you have pictures, actually, you know what? While I'm talking, I could probably do that on virtual while we're talking. So, all right. So this is a rebranding. So you see, it's got the premium quality, and it's also got second edition. So I changed it because the publisher I had. See, there's me standing there in the middle, and these are the signed copies I have. This is a hard edition. And that book was therapeutic poetry. Sold out 3 weeks in a row on Amazon. Never saw any royalties. Got rid of my publisher. My book was in limbo. Went under a new publisher in 2024. Rebranded, and then I believe my publisher was telling me that, I had signed a contract and they wanted another book, and I couldn't give them another book because I had tremors in my left hand. And so somebody told me to start talking to my phone. And let's just say after talking to my phone for a couple months, The Broken Mirror was born. And that book is kind of like a mental tool for your mental toolbox. People are always trying to gather information and coping mechanisms and stuff. So this is the soft copy of The Broken Mirror. The actual cover is the Kindle version. Again, I made it where the little figure.
Oh,
there.
hold on. There we go.
That's the corporate side of me, the little corporate guy now.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and there's Broken Mirror. But that book has like resume writing, so it's all transitional stuff, like when you get out of the military. And I made both books for everyone. I believe that everybody has traumatic issues or trauma. So this second book is getting a lot of hype, and that's why I'm out on the road, because it's that guide that I think people should look at, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are in a worse situation than me. And I think if somebody can pick up this book or pick up my other book, they will definitely see that this is not like a normal book that somebody writes. This came from the heart, the mind, the body, and the soul, because I put it all out on my phone under my, what is it called, voice memos. Because, and I had someone with 39 years of editing experience, because there's a piece in the back that I left for the editorial. He did an amazing job. His wife ended up having a heart attack. So I had two individuals with Purple Heart recipient and another individual who is a distinguished, Distinguished, some kind of medal. I don't know, I forget what it is right now, but he was one of my security directors. So, and it's also calling out the government, because after 16 years, I got fired for mental health, not agreeing with policy. They fired me over an email, said that I was a threat. I filed for disability retirement, it got approved. While I was getting approved, I was working with a new publisher. That book was supposed to drop on Halloween. It didn't drop on Halloween, so I was up all night long on KDP trying to figure it out, and finally it dropped on Halloween, and it blew up overnight. So it's going downhill a little bit now, but that's why I'm on these podcasts to push it, because like I don't care who buys my book. It's the message that I'm putting out while I'm in my RV, helping, interacting. Like if I can just interact with people and network, because networking is the key to success.
Oh, yeah.
And with all these people that have these different podcast platforms, that's the way you get your message out. So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
this
sir.
book right here, little me in the back right there. Yeah, they're on Amazon. You can sample them on Kindle. And I'm actually working with an organization right now on the audio pieces, because a lot of people that have mental health issues, they can't read correctly or have like dementia. And I want to get the message out for people that can listen to it while they're driving the car. But also, both books also call out long-term medication use. I was on 3 different med changes, and things help you when I basically had the same psychiatrist from 2008 all the way to now. He's still my psychiatrist, and he pushed me also to do the second book. And he's my number one supporter, Dr. Barber. But I just want to tell you that I just believe that if one person can pick up one of these books, I've accomplished my mission. So
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Well, so we definitely got some people out there that said they're going to get your books, like Sam with Black Dog Community. We also have another Army veteran, Frank DeMith, who wrote A Vital Interest. He's in here. He said your books are really good. And he said the hardest part of writing is after you finish writing the book. And then you said something about audiobooks. So like me, I'm not a very it's hard for me to read books, like to sit down and turn pages. Now, if I had audio playing where it's reading it, I could sit there and read it as it's going along. I can do that, but just sitting down here reading a book by itself without the audio book, it's really hard for me to focus on doing that. I have read a few books, but it's very hard and takes me forever to read them. Unlike my wife, who can read a book in like 3 days. And I'm talking about a 1,000-page book or more, and she's just reading right through it. So,
you would not believe why I've been here in Florida, because my kid's a cheerleader in Orlando. She's a 2-time world champ. Also, this book is also an apology to her, because I didn't know who she was for 3 years. So I want her to know that her dad's out doing good things, because like I was a miserable father. And that part of this book is, if you're a miserable father, you need to get your butt in this book and read it, or one of the other books, because you could end up, when you mentally abuse someone, that's considered child abuse.
yeah.
And you could go to jail. So all I'm going to say is, so I have challenge coins that I had made. It says The Voice to the Voiceless, a mental health journey. Has the cover on the back, and has 2 black stars for book 1 and book 2. I bought those out of my money. Like the mold cost like $800. I give those coins out to people, like even civilians, everyday normal people. I've been interacting with a bunch of people from Canada. They talked to me about the Canadian VA. I learned a lot, like while I'm out on the road.
Yeah.
And it's like a token. And then I also have my business cards that I made with its 1821 logo behind me. And like I said, that's my platform. I do some stuff on YouTube under 1821 Productions. And I also am going to start doing some podcasting, because if it wasn't for people like you and for Travis and Brian, all these different platforms, I would not be on here. Like, and that's why I want to do my own podcast. I did a couple podcasts on 1821. I'm the only 1821 Productions on Spotify. So if anybody wants to go and listen to those little test things, you can go on there.
That's your YouTube link right there on the screen. I put it in chat. So
yeah, I appreciate that, man.
You want to go subscribe to his YouTube channel.
A couple other podcasts coming up. So, but But I will say, Marine Corps veteran Travis, he basically is showing me the ropes, and I appreciate it. I was also on People's Patriot Project. Mark and Andrea, they're
Yeah, I love
amazing.
those guys.
Yeah, I love them. Even though if I can't like talk it all, I listen to them every Sunday night, and sometimes I get on to the debrief. But
Yeah,
they can only do so much. But yeah, man, I'm just like I said, networking is the key to your success, man.
oh yeah,
So,
for sure. Definitely,
yeah, man.
definitely networking and working together is key to ending the 22. We talk about that all the time. Is networking
usually
and
wear-
working.
I
working.
usually wear a 22 a day hat, man.
Well,
Yeah, man.
James with Heroes of America and Beyond, this guy here, you probably need to get connected with him. He designs coins. He goes out and hands coins out to veterans and up in DC and all over the place. Wherever he meets a veteran, he hands out coins. So definitely.
Yeah, I got about 100 of them right now.
Now, you said that your die fee for your coins $800.
Yeah, the mold.
You're getting ripped off.
No,
Ripped off.
yeah, I know. The first time I ever did it. So I ordered, so it was like 450 for the mold, and then it was about 3 something for the 100 coins.
Now you're
So-
still getting ripped off. So
Yeah.
Valor Coins and Pins, which is the grandson of Medal of Honor recipient Herschel Woody Williams, they have Valor Coins and Pins, and their mold is $99 for the front, $99 for the back, so $200.
Wow.
And then depending on what size coin you get, whether it's a 2-inch coin, 2.25, 3.5, whatever, they price it by that. So I think if you're looking to maybe do another coin, I can get you connected with Brent Casey.
Yeah, send me a link, man, because like I'm not going to purchase no more coins from them. I just have the 100 coins.
Yeah.
So,
And then if you James, like I was saying, James here with Heroes of America and Beyond, he designs coins. So if you're looking to design a new coin, he might be able to help you with that as well.
cool. I appreciate it.
But no, man, it's been my pleasure to sit here and chit chat with you for this hour and learn about you and everything that you've done. We probably even just barely scratched the surface because there's so much there. And of course, you've been on other podcasts, and so if people out there like he's been on, you've been on Misfit Nation yet?
Yes, I have.
So Misfit Nation, every day's a Saturday. USMC veteran, Oscar Mike Radio. Those are some of my people. Go check out their podcast with Mr. Stevens on there as well.
I forget her name. Something Ann. She's a female. She's like country. She has a lot of like different bands on. She's on Sunday. She might be on Sunday nights. I'm interacting with. Maybe I think I don't know. I'm interacting with her.
The vet.
Who?
Is it Conversations with a Vet?
No. I'll share it to you later, but I have
Okay.
a couple. I'm going to be on like a municipal marijuana. I don't do that, but they're going to do that. They're going to talk to me on a municipal page.
Nice. Nice.
If I could just get on any, and then I do the morning message in my RV, and I post that every day on YouTube. So, like I said, like I was telling you before we went in the studio, the one that I did yesterday, basically raw. I call it raw. I'm broken. It explains why those 2 books were made and the stuff that I went through in high school that drove me to be in the military and stuff that I didn't disclose in my book because I didn't think that it needed to be disclosed. But like, if you personally know who I am, like you're speaking to me now, it's basically who I really am. Not this guy that people think that I'm hiding behind a keyboard, because I'm real. Like I'm as real as they got. I'm as real as they get. So when I say I'm the voice of the voiceless, like on YouTube, I swear, like some people don't like that, but you know what? If you don't like it, you can always go to another platform, because like I think people don't want to see the football game or talk about politics. And I don't know, because when you're on 1821 Productions, there's no politics and there's no BS there, brother.
So are you on TikTok? There's a question.
No, I don't do TikTok.
Oh, you should. You should.
I did do TikTok, but I got banned because someone was creeping on my daughter, and I sent like a terroristic threat to them. And I guess TikTok goes by your email address, because I try to join up in a different TikTok, because if you start harming and saying some stuff, creeping on my kid online, I'm going after you. So yeah, I got banned. I won't lie, I got banned from TikTok, but I don't do TikTok. A couple people have me trying to get me to join X. Yeah, so I'm
Well,
not on there.
I was going to say on TikTok, there's a wonderful community with Vet Nations and Lita, Black Dog, myself, and many others, James, and many others, and we would definitely love to have you come in there and tell your story on Vet Nations 7:30 in the
Okay.
or 7 o'clock in the morning. So if you can get back on TikTok, I don't know if you can download it now if you don't have it on your phone, but um, there's just a wonderful community on TikTok now that has changed in the last like 2 years. So it might be something you might want to look at, and that way you can get out there and tell your story a little bit more. But I definitely want to thank you for coming on and hanging out with me for this hour. And like I said, we barely just scratched the surface. Oh, look at the puppers! Look at the puppers!
That's my that's my go-to right there. This is my daughter's dog. I've had her for 10 years, so they're out on the road with me and they love it.
I
This
hear
is
you. What's up, Miss Tita?
long-haired Chihuahua.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, so yep, she's gonna start barking. So,
Well,
but yeah, I appreciate it, man. I really do.
hey, you're welcome. So I'm going to drop you in the green room. Then I'm going to close it out. I got to give you contact information for James with Heroes of America and Beyond. He wants to reach out to you. Actually, I'll just get you. I'll send an introduction email between the two of you. But I'm going to drop you in the green room real quick, and I'm going to wrap up the show. And
can I say one thing?
yes, sir.
Reviews on Amazon make an author. They don't sell books. I have 19 reviews right now for my new book, The Broken Mirror. So if you read it, if you look at it, sample it, please do a review. I don't care if you give me a 1-star or a 5-star, but everything that's on there right now is 4 and 5-star. And these people are like, they don't even know who I am, but it feels like I'm actually speaking to them.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to drop you down, and I'm going to close out the show real quick. Guys, I want to thank Mr. Stevens for coming on and joining us tonight. It was, like I said, we probably barely just scratched the surface of his story. So there's other podcasts that he's been on. You can go check it out, and he does something different each time. So you'll learn some other things from this podcast or that podcast. I got a lot of his military story, which is something cool because he's a Desert Storm vet that transitioned into pre 9/11, so or after post 9/11. So definitely a heck of a story there, and we barely even scratched it. He's got 2 books out, The Mirror and then The Broken Mirror. You can get them on Amazon. Check it out. Leave reviews because, like you said, reviews is what makes the author, especially on Amazon and stuff like that. So go check it out. And then Gunny's not here tonight, so you guys are with me. So as you can see, I'm wearing Marine It Down. This is a co-branded shirt with sameflagsameoath.com website scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you go there to sameflagsameoath.com, you can click on the co-branded shirt, scroll down till you find the Marine It Down shirt. It's written in red crown. Or you can go to this link here, which I will put in chat as well. This is the Marine It Down link directly to the Marine It Down link. You can go get the shirt there. So here's the link for that. So go down, go buy this shirt. And what's going to happen when you guys buy this shirt? 25% of all sales at the end of the year comes back to HomeFront Sitrep. Then we're going to turn around and donate that to a nonprofit. So what we did this year, we had a wheel, we spun a wheel. Whoever it landed on got the money. That it was like $500 this year. So go buy this shirt. I will have a website set up through Same Flag, Same Oath here for too long. It's going to have some other shirts that we're going to be selling as well. So go check out sameflagsameoath.com. They do really good work. It's a veteran owned company in Texas. And then, like Gunny says, you're not alone. Like I say all the time, you're not alone. We're here for you. We're your community. You're not alone. Reach out, talk to somebody. You're not alone. Hashtag be someone stranger. This is something that I harp on all the time. Look, we as humans, we are more apt to talk to a complete stranger than somebody we love the most. I will open up to a complete stranger before I open up to my wife or my children with demons that are going on inside of me daily. So be somebody's stranger, be somebody's ear. Don't try to fix them. Just listen to them. Could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 5-hour conversation. Just be somebody's stranger. Ask that next hard question too. How are you really doing? Because you can go up to a veteran and say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm living a dream." But then if you get really deep into it, "Hey, how you really doing?" Then they're going to open up. So yeah, definitely ask people how they're doing. Um, and then Homefront Sitrep is proud partners with Heroes Media Group, Reach Across America Radio, Veterans Voice Radio, and Military United podcast streams. On Reach Across America Radio, you can find Homefront Sitrep on Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. Link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, reachacrossamerica.org/radio, or you can download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app. Search the word Reese, and you can find Homefront Sitrep on there as well. Miss Lauren, I love your face. Yeah, hashtag be someone stranger. You're not alone. Thank you guys for coming in here and hanging out with us, Mr. Stevens and myself. I'm gonna play this commercial. I didn't play it last night, but I'm gonna play it. If you're a veteran and you're in crisis, 988*1. If you're not a veteran and you just want to talk to somebody, 988. They're there for you too. You can chat with them via the internet. You could text them, or you can call them. And if you don't like the person that you're talking to, disconnect, recall, and get somebody different. And I've said probably 3 or 4 of those today. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm living a dream. Just because, I went back to work, then went to PT. And, it's just one of those things, man. Sometimes I just want to say, hey, I'm okay. I think I seen a shirt that I'm going to buy here. It says, "I'm broken, but I'm in okay," is in red. I'm going to order that shirt for too long because I think it's needed for me anyway. If you're a veteran out there and you're filing for disability, you want a second opinion, or you just got questions, we have partnered with Monica Sanford of the Monica Sanford Show. She's amazing. She's a nurse practitioner down in Florida. She also helps veterans with their VA benefits. So you can email her at askmonica0@gmail.com, and she's pretty quick at responding. Her husband was a lieutenant colonel, retired USMC. He's amazing as well. So check it out. I'm going to play that little video real quick. so we are about to wrap it up. Lacey James, it's radio. Reese Across America Radio. And I don't know about double talking on TikTok there. Who knows? It could be. But anyway, it's that time of night, guys. We say it every night when we're done with the show. Stay safe out there. We got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.